In this video, we are going to learn how to express fractions as decimals when the fractions do not have a denominator of 10 or 100. If I'm given a decimal like this, for example, 0.2, I know that I can write it as a fraction by first putting my place value on top. There's my 1, and there's in my tenths place. Then, because my number goes up to the tens place, my denominator is going to be 10, and I take my number in the tens place and I put it on top, 2 over 10. So 2 over 10 and 0.2 are the same. So it's very easy to change these two from a fraction to a decimal or decimal to a fraction when the denominator is 10. In this example here, I have a whole number. There's my 1, there's my tenth, and there's my hundredth. I have a whole number. So if I was going to change this to a fraction, I'd put my 2, which is my whole number. Here I go up to the hundredths. So my denominator is 100, and I put my tenths and hundreds on top. So it's 2 and 21 over 100. It's easy to change between these two when my denominator is 100 or when it's 10, because that represents the tenths and the hundreds. However, in some situations, you'll be given a fraction and the denominator is not 10 or not 100, and you need to change it to a decimal. Before you can change it to a decimal, you have to change the fraction so that the denominator is 10 in this case. So I have to change my 5 to become a 10. I know to get 5 to 10, I can multiply by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. What you do to the bottom of the fraction, you do to the top. So I multiplied by 2 at the bottom, so I'm going to multiply by 2 at the top. 2 times 2 is 4. So now I have a fraction where my denominator is a 10, 4 over 10. And it's easy then for me to write this fraction as a decimal. Because my denominator is 10, I know that I'm going to have numbers up until the tenths place. My numerator becomes my tenth, and I have 0.4 as my answer. It's very easy to write it as a decimal when my denominator is a 10. But first, I need to change my denominator so that it becomes a 10. In the second example, I'm given a mixed number, 2 and 20 over 50. So I have to first write this fraction with a denominator that's 100, so I can change it easily to a decimal. Copy my 2 down because I can't change my whole number. To get 50 to 100, I know I can multiply by 2. 50 times 2 will give me 100. What I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 20 times 2 is going to give me 40. Now I have 2 and 40 over 100. Because my denominator is now 100, it's very easy for me to change this mixed number into a decimal. My 2 becomes my 1. Now I have 2 decimal places because I have 100 in the denominator. So I put my 40 next to it. Or I could just say 2.4. The answer would be the same because 0 doesn't mean anything. And the 2 from the mixed number becomes my 2 in the ones place. So 2 and 20 over 50 is the same as 2.4 or 2.40. If you understand this clearly, please try this activity now by yourself in your online journals.